Okay, video 2, side length of similar triangles. Now, we are given two triangles and you know they are similar. You don't have to prove anything. I'm telling you, hey, these two are similar. But we need to find missing side length. So there are two basic ways that we're going to set up proportions. And if you remember, proportions is a 7th grade content. We reviewed proportions when we were learning equations. Now we're going to use those proportions in a real life situation. So there's two methods. Gonna be honest, I usually use method 1. It makes more sense in my brain. Both of them are the same. So the first method is you're gonna establish ratios between the two figures. Okay, so if you have triangle ABC and triangle PQR, you're gonna establish ratios between the corresponding sides. Method 2 is you're gonna establish ratios within the same figure. Okay, really interesting about this, when the figure is the same, the triangle similar, that they are similar, then the ratios are the same in the figure. So if you divide for example the base and the height into similar triangles, so if you divide base over height, that's going to be the same value as if we divide the base and the height in a different triangle. So it's really interesting. So we're gonna do these problems. This is from your work group 15 and it should be page 4. So what I did is I'm gonna explain to you the first section and then there's a practice problems on the back. Okay, feel free to use your workbook if you want to. So the first thing is find the missing length and we're gonna use the first method. So it says establish values of ratios corresponding segments between the two figures. So keywords, values of ratios of corresponding, which means same position, okay, between the two figures. So I'm gonna say in here AB is corresponding with XY, and then we have AC is corresponding with YZ, and then we have BC is corresponding with this section here, XZ. So the first thing is we're going to establish ratios between the two figures. So we're going to have in here, okay, I left this in here in blank. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in here is I need to find the missing length. So we're going to find X, okay? So I noticed that X and A are the same. So what this side length, the way we use this method is we're gonna say if these two triangles are similar, then if I take X and I divide that by 8, okay, notice what I did, I'm dividing X over 8. That's the same thing as if I take 12 and I divide that by 6. So I'm dividing corresponding segments. So this is going to be the same thing as 12 divided by 6. Now you can solve this in any method, and I know the most effective way would be by saying, hey, what is the opposite of dividing? That's multiplication. But I know some of you will use this method, which is cross multiplication, the butterfly. So we multiply X times 6. I just noticed a problem. My face is over here. Move this here. Okay. We're gonna multiply X and 6, so that's gonna be 6X, and then we're gonna multiply 8 times 12, which is 96. Okay, in order to solve this problem, really easy. The operation between the 6 and the X is multiplication. What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So we're gonna, in order to get rid of that 6, we need to divide by 6 both sides. And then X is gonna be equal to, and I think the 16. Yes. That means that this length in here equals 16. That's it. Now, the second method says you are gonna establish ratios within the same figure. So ABC, you're gonna find a ratio, and XYZ, you're gonna find a ratio. So here, this section in here and this section in here belong to the same triangle. And then we have that this section in here and this section in here belong to the same triangle, so I'm using the same two shapes. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to say, leave it blank. What we're going to say is, well, that means that if these two triangles are similar and I divide x over 12, that should be the same thing as dividing 8 over 6. Can you see how the ratio, it is the same length. So YZ is corresponding to AC, and then YX is corresponding to AB. So I'm finding the ratio within the triangle, and that should be the same as the ratio within the other triangle. So this is equal to 8 over 6. And here we just need to solve this problem. Again, I'm sorry, I'm using this section and my face is over there. Hopefully it didn't cut out. We're going to use cross multiplication. 6 times x, 12 times 8. And again, we get multiplication in here. What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So we're going to divide by 6 each side. X equals 16. And we found the missing side. Notice that x equals 16. It doesn't matter which method I use. I found 16 for both problems. And that's what should happen when you solve yours. Here you have a different problem. It says find the missing length using both methods. First, we're going to identify similar triangles. So triangle ABC is similar to triangle M and P. How do you know? By the angle-angle criterion, because these angles C and angle N are congruent, and angle B and angle P are congruent. You're going to write this down in here. After you explain why these two triangles are congruent, we're going to go to the next section. Now, I know there's different methods to solve this problem. Use cross multiplication because it's going to be easier for you, because I know writing in math and equations in Google Slides is really complicated. So I already did it, like the structure of the equation, so you just need to type the numbers in here, okay? This is using the first method. You have these two figures and you need to find the proportion between the two triangles. So they give you 4 over x, okay, see it in here, 4 over x equals, and then you're going to fill out the rest. Use cross multiplication. I highly recommend you do it on a paper and then just type in the numbers. You're going to find the same x, but now you're going to use the second method within each figure, and I'm helping you, giving you the first ratio. Now slide 12 and 13 are a little bit different because now you need to do everything from scratch. Find the y value by creating a proportion based on the first method and then the second method. And this is where I'm guessing most of you will struggle. And remember, there's tutorings on Fridays for Mr. Jennings and for my class, and I also do tutorings Wednesdays and Thursdays during your period. Okay, that's the section that you have to do for the second part of lesson 15, which is how to find the missing length. So AA criterion is how to determine if two figures are similar, how two triangles are similar, and then the second lesson is find missing length now that you have similar triangles. That's it for video 2.